The water level is rising. The water level is rising in this house and throughout this region. My beloved will feel a wave of blessing like a wave of water being poured out on a parched earth. This is no flash flood, but it's an ancient dry riverbed being filled and flowing again. You shall know a new and refreshing and a continuous flow of blessings. A continuous flow of blessings. A continuous flow of blessings. With this outpouring, I require new stewardship. I require that there shall be no partisan spirit, but a partnership of kingdom-minded people. Kingdom-minded people. Kingdom-minded people. I require a partnership of fathers throughout this state who will produce new works and develop the sons of heaven. Hallelujah. The Lord says, this city, this region, this state shall be a portrait of heaven. Hallelujah. A visual aid to the lost. A house set on high where my glory shall be visible. You are a craftsmanship of heaven that will overcome the religious spirit and join together as a corporate body. One body in Christ. One body in Christ. One body in Christ. Behold, the water level is rising, and the place of miracles is rising with it. Miracles, signs, and wonders are raining of the dead to life. for you. The Spirit of the Lord says, worship will increase as my glory descends. I like that. Worship will increase as my glory descends. Many people will come to the waters, for I am a fountain of life in your midst. I'm taking the roof off. I will not deny. I will not withhold. I will fill this place with blessings. Wait, listen. He said, I will soak these walls. I will soak these walls. I will soak these walls. I will no longer deny you. I will indulge myself in this place. I will sweep you off your feet. I will romance my beloved, because a new intimacy is being released right now. The longing of my heart for you will be indulged. The water level is rising. The water level is rising. The water level is rising. Thank God for Deacon Jim Frazier. Come on, everybody.
Good morning. First, giving honor to God, to my bishop, prophetess, Prophet Gabriel, Pastor Cliff, Genesis, my extended family, and my wife. First, I want to say this is an honor to be here again in the house of the Lord. We all can change directions and do several different things on Sunday morning, but we chose to be here and serve the Lord. And we have to be able to say, thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. Man, y'all don't say it like you mean it. Thank you, Jesus. Amen. So yesterday was a department head meeting. I don't normally get called to speak from the department head meeting. But when Bishop told me this morning I was up, I had to immediately renew my mind and adjust. And I realized you have to always stay obedient and you have to always be ready. I thought about, well, you're supposed to always be ready. When you're serving God, you have to always be ready. So I erased that out of my mind and says, okay. Then I realized we covered a lot. I'm like, what am I going to speak about? So I renewed my mind again. I said, okay, well, I'm going to let the Holy Spirit guide me. And when you go to department head meetings, if you think you're going for fun and dance, that's not what the department head meeting is for. Right. This is where corrections come, instructions. Right. And this is when you go and you get a chance to hear the bishop and the prophetess and Prophet Gabriel tell you the way things should be lined up. And we always get something good. Right. Yesterday, Bishop illustrated crossing over. And I was trying to think, okay, this could mean several different things. Right. But before he even got into it, he says, we've already crossed over. Amen. Meaning crossing over the river. You know the story of crossing over the Jordan River. Yeah. So what I did is I took my own illustration. So Oceanside, this is the river right here. Yeah. So the way he broke it down to us is that we crossed over. So then you think, what does that mean? Then you have to think about all the obstacles that was in front of you before today. How many things God has blessed you with? How many turmoils have you came over? You know, then you have to thank God for that. You can't keep thriving on what didn't happen and things like that. You got to tell yourself, I've crossed over. Then he talked about building the church. That's what our job is. To build a church, to build up one another. And then we talked about the different departments. Where some of the departments is lacking in people. We need help here, we need help there. You know, and everybody looking around like who's going to help. But the help is right here. So you got to look at your neighbor, or look at somebody that's not being involved, and see if they're interested in getting involved. Sometimes you just might have to ask the person, hey, do you want to work in the children's church? You know, can you sing? Can you dance? We don't know if you don't show us that. But it was just interested the way that the things were illustrated to us. And when you at these meetings, you focused and you start listening. And I always take my situation and I compare it to what is being talked about. And I start thinking about all the things that I overcame. You know, you don't walk out of cancer. Walk out of prison. You know, so I always use these things, and this is where I get my strength. You know, and then Bishop brought to us, just like every day in our walk, we get somebody to come to us. We don't have to go to them. They come to us. We have to be prepared when they come. We have to be able to give them a word. You don't have to go in and start giving scriptures, especially if you don't know the scriptures or you're not good with quoting scriptures. Give them your testimony. What is your testimony? I woke up today. You know, that's a testimony. You know, that's what you have to do. You have to do this daily. You know, help someone. And then a good thing, there's a reward for that. Every time you help somebody and give them a good word comes to you. Or something good comes to you. So in this kingdom walk, it's a daily work. You know, it does not stop. That's why I had to immediately renew my mind when he told me I'm speaking. What do I talk about? Why am I worried about that? The Holy Spirit will get up here and it will direct you when you get here. You know, and he won't let the wrong things come out. So when I'm up, don't ever look at me. Look at what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying. Because you can get off track looking at me. I'm not perfect. I fail. I came short. But I'm coming. I'm crossed over. Don't keep saying that we crossing over. We have crossed over. We have to constantly renew our minds and think that. How do we get there? You take your post. Constantly. If you don't have a post, get a post. Bishop says now this is the best group ever. My heart fills with joy when he say that. Because it does not take a full auditorium to serve God. It takes those faithful few. Many have been chosen, but only a few will come. In order for us to do this, we have to stick together. We have to love one another. You know, we can't keep talking about each other, knocking our sisters down, knocking our brothers down. You know, we got to lift them up. Because out there, they want to see us fall. The attack is coming, but we prepare. We are the crushing team. You know, we have to put that in our minds. Daily. We the ones that's attacking. Constantly. Like I said, it does not take a lot. Give your testimony. When you start thinking of what else can I say, just think about what have happened. You know what? I didn't have a place to stay last week. That's what I got a place this week. How many new cars do we have right now? Man, so how many new cars do we have? Several new cars right here. We didn't have all these new cars a couple years ago. And they're constantly coming. Homes are coming. Blessings is flowing. Miracles are right here. Go to another tank. You're going to see the same system every week. Service in this corner. Service in this corner. The same thing. They're going to read the scriptures. Send you home. We have altar prayer. We get healed right here. Constantly people are being healed. Why come we don't stay healed? Because as soon as we leave our healing here. Take your healing out. Tell somebody about it. And say, hey, I was healed today. How was you healed? In the service. I prayed. I had faith. The key is faith. When you get healed, you got to believe that. Hey, I've been healed. You got to renew your mind. Constantly you got to tell yourself, I've been healed. That demon is gone. But it's a daily walk. And then last but not least, the key is tithing and offering. I just want to challenge you guys. I'm not singling nobody out. If you don't tithe and pay your offering, try it.
Amen.
When you try it, watch and see what God will do. Watch and see what He will do. If you're not doing it, you can't see what He will do. You can pay, it's like I'm going to use myself for example. So I'm not singing nobody out. I can put my last dime in my tithe envelope.
Yes. That's right.
And I have bills coming. He has never failed me yet. Every time He answers. I didn't say sometime. I said every time. Don't pay the bill first. Pay the tithe first. The tithe is for the church. It's for us to be able to have service. To be able to have these different facilities. These things are not free. Then the word that we get, you don't get it nowhere else. We got a good group. I love this small group. You know, when you're in a group of thousands, you don't know nobody. People looking at you. There's enough group. We all should be familiar with one another. We all should love one another. So when you get your check, if you work at a 9 to 5, pay your tithe and your offering first.
Yes.
It's not forcing you. I'm just telling you what works.
Yes.
If you want the blessing, that's how you get it.
Yes.
I want mine.
Yes.
Do you want yours?
Yes.
Try it.
Amen.
That's what my challenge is today. Just try it.
Yes.
If it does not work, come and tell me about it. And
Right.
that bill that didn't get paid, I will pay it for you. That's how deep it is. If you really do it. And don't come and say that you did it and you didn't. If you tithe and you paying your offering, and because you do it today, and then you don't do it next week, well, guess what? You're hitting and missing. Don't come and tell me then. When you get a steady program, and you doing it, and he don't answer, and you come and tell me I'm short on that bill, I'm going to help you. That's my challenge. Thank you. And then like the prophet Gabriel.
I have a testimony based on what Deacon Frazier just shared with us. And somebody had texted me during the week, and they were saying how they were 2 months behind on their car, and didn't know what to do, and they prayed and asked the Lord when they got the car, Lord, if you want me to have this car, you will make a way. And the person got the car. Now, the person has had the car for almost a year, brand new car, and they were saying again, you know, I'm 2 months behind. The Lord gave me this car. I asked him if he wanted me to have it, he would move, and he did, but this is not happening. So I inquired, and I said, well, what's going on with your tithe and offering? And they said, oh, well, I tithe. And I said, but have you been faithful? Then they admitted, and they said, no, I haven't. I've been hitting and missing. I said, well, there it is right there. I said, because it's the same thing with my vehicles. I said, God gave me, I told the Lord, he gave me the vehicle. And I said, but he will sustain it. And I tell him every month, Lord, you gave me this vehicle, so that means you have to sustain it. Because I'm a tither and I'm a giver. So what happens is with the tithe is you get access. Where Deacon Frazier said, try it. Well, that's what God says, try me. He says, try me in this area, test me. This is the only area he says, test me. Meaning, test me and see if it'll work. I said, but see, when you're faithful in it, you have a right, you have access to say, no, Lord, you promise. So this is what happens is we don't say it out of our mouths. If you can't say it, you can't obtain it. If you can't speak it, it doesn't belong to you. So there's people that say, or they have this mentality, or I'm a tither, but when something happens, they freeze up or they cry, not understanding that, no, you have to say. I tell the Lord, you promised. I'm a tither and I'm a giver now, so you can't say that if you're not. So I told the person, I said, what you need to do is, I said, it's very simple. I said, all you need to do, I said, first of all, you need to watch Ustream from Sunday. I said, because there's a woman on there with a testimony that God moved in that one. She called in for counsel, and I said that she needed a miracle, and God moved that week. I said, you're in the same situation. So they were saying that she had to have the money by Friday, and it was Wednesday. Needed the money by Friday, or they was coming to get the car on Saturday. So that means you need God to move now. So you needed $1,200. So I said, first of all, you need to watch the service from last Sunday. Watch the testimony so that power can hit you. I said, you need to repent I said, you need to repent for not being faithful in your tithe and offering. I said, you repent and then you promise the Lord that you are going to be faithful in your tithe. I said, that's all you need to do. And I said, and God will start moving today.
Amen.
Well, and I said, oh, this is the other part. I said, and you need to call some people that you don't want to call. I said, you need to call some people that see there's always other sides to the instructions that are uncomfortable, that you don't want to do. I said, you will not want to do this, but I said, you need to call people who you don't want to call. I said, first off, with the car people. Said, well, I already talked to them and they said they're going to they have to have all the money or they're just coming to take the car. I said, call them back. I said, once you've done this, once you've watched the service, once you've repented, then call. Okay, well, a few hours later, called in with a report and said that they called the car people and they told her, well, let me talk to my manager. So they talked to the manager and said, well, can you give something? She said, yeah, I can. I know I can give it on Friday because you get paid on Friday. So she can give $500. And they said, well, if you can give $500, we're not going to come get the car. So I said, then they gave her an extension to pay the rest. See, but what happens is people forget that you need to, there's certain steps. There's miracles lined up for us every day, but there's steps that have to be taken. There's steps that have to be taken. So when you take the steps, you have to work the miracle. A miracle doesn't just fall in your lap. The miracle comes when you line yourself up. You line yourself up so that the miracle can take place. Which means you have to be open. You have to seek wise counsel, as the Bible says. When you seek wise counsel, then you get wise answers. When you have problems, you need answers. Isn't that right? When you have problems, you need answers. But when you call and find out and get counsel from leadership, then guess what? You're protected. Guess what? That means you've got about a 99% chance if you listen and follow through of it happening. You have it. Now, if you don't believe that, then none of that applies to you. You have to believe. Oh, back to the song. I didn't finish last week. So back to our Ride the Wave song. I didn't get to the part to where hand on the plow, sword in the hand. Sword in the hand, hand on the plow. That means, what Deacon Frazier was saying is you don't have a post. No. You have to get in a post. Just coming and sitting in church, that's not going to get it. If you are not working in the house of God, if you are not active in the house of God, that means that you're not in your post. Just coming and sitting down and listening to the service and spectating does not mean that you have your hand on the plow. And you will bounce. See, the song is describing all the things that you need to do so that you don't bounce. I have to make that clear. Where in the song we say, we don't want you to bounce. We don't want you to bounce. But if you're not obedient, listen what it says. It says, heed the words of the Spirit, harden not your heart. We talked about it last week. What was the other one that says, obedience is key? Obedience is key. Obedience is key. Obedience is key. Obedience is key. Meaning, when you receive instruction, whether you agree with it or not, if you obey, you move God's hand. Whether you like it or not, it's not going to be comfortable. When God gives you the instruction for your life on adjustments that you need to make in your mind and your soul, it's not comfortable. It's not, oh yeah, I love that, thank you, Lord. That's not how it works. You're angry. Because why? Your flesh. Your flesh is contrary to the Spirit of God. My dad wants you to get that. Your flesh is contrary to the Spirit of God. So when the Spirit of God speaks, the dark pockets in your mind, which deception has placed, when deception has placed, that is when the Spirit is giving things to help you change. That's not the time to be talking, not the time to be looking down at your Bible. I haven't read anything in the Bible, so you shouldn't be looking in the Bible. We are going to go to the Bible though. But when the Spirit is giving, pinpointing things, pockets that you're unaware of, so that you can change them, so that you can change them, so that you can adjust. So that you can say, I don't want that anymore. I no longer want that. See, the Spirit is revealing it to you right now as I'm speaking. Your flesh will automatically dismiss it, get angry, talk, implant seeds going against what the Spirit is giving. Yeah, run out, hide. Act like you're going to the bathroom, but you're not. See, they don't understand that the Spirit of God is in this place. Last week, when I was preaching, somebody could not take it. And they ran out into the bathroom. And my father called a man, my father didn't see. But my father called a man over and said, go get such and such out of the bathroom. He's not using the bathroom. So the man went in the bathroom and he saw the man just standing in the bathroom. And he said, Bishop said, come back in the service, you're not using the bathroom. Then he said, oh my God, how did Bishop know that I was in the Right. There is a real apostle in here and there is a real prophet in here. See, you can't guess them type of things. You can't make those type of things up. My dad didn't just guess and say, I wonder if so-and-so was in the bathroom. No, that's not how it works. See, what happens is the Spirit of God is strong in here. And flesh can't take it. So what you have to do is, you have to discard your flesh. You have to say, I don't want you. I hate you. I want the demon out. That's what's making you get up and go. The demons in you is making you get up and go. I've had a boy tell me, your boy, you know who, he said every time you get up and preach, he says something's in my head, just tell me you gotta get out of here. You gotta get out of here. I said, those are demons. And he said, yeah, every time I come, he's like, man, every time I come, it's just like, but he said, I stay, but it's telling me the whole time, I gotta get out of here. I said, right, so I said, you have a choice. They can go, or you gotta go. That's how it is. Yeah, now, and I was constantly telling them another stat. I was constantly telling him, you belong here. You're supposed to be here. And he's like, yeah, you're right. I said, how many times did God have to tell you? Guess what? Now he's in prison. Come on. That's just a few weeks ago. That's right. So they think that we just talk. They think that we just talk. Or we're just mean, or we're just upset, or we're just angry. No, we're trying to save your life. Like when Deacon Fletcher said, you don't pay attention to me, pay attention as what's coming out. They said, oh, well, the way you talk, I just would. Listen, when the boulder is about to fall on your head and crush you and kill you, what difference does it make if I'm screaming, hey, the boulder's coming? Or, oh, there's a boulder about to kill you. It doesn't matter how you talk. The flesh inside of you is not going to listen anyway. So let's stop playing. No, when we see it coming and we point it out, it's for your benefit. It's for your benefit. Okay, now to the leadership meeting. And I want to pick up on some things that my father said, the Spirit said through my father on Thursday. Key things. They haven't gone away. See, what happens just because the service is over doesn't mean it's just gone away. That's what happens to us. It's just out there floating somewhere now. Because the service is over, we're back to zombie land, gotta work in the morning, gotta go to the grocery store, gotta go to the gas station, and what the Spirit brought is not even a thought. No, not with spirit people. Not with spirit people. I want to commend the Castro family. I noticed that you come into the house this week. This is your first service ever. I seen you here at 9 o'clock, right? That's amazing. Yeah. 9:01. I was shocked. I said, wow, there was something at the house must have got on you. Because this is priority for us. Yeah, shocking, huh? Okay. Yesterday, my father, the bishop, he said, the Holy Spirit said, the bishop's mission is to take our group over the Jordan into the promised land. We are in the promised land now. See, my father's been saying it ever since I was born, but he's been talking about the city of Oceanside, and I've had to renew my mind. When we lived in Carlsbad, it was the greatest for me. Because there was the first time in my life I was not harassed by the police at least 3 times a week for stupid things, whatever they decided things. I didn't experience that anymore when I went to Carlsbad. So for me, I was like, this is great. I don't mind if I never live in Oceanside again, ever. But, yeah, they did. They burglarized my vehicle for the first time ever in Carlsbad. But, I got all my possessions back. I loosed the demons on them. I loosed the demons on them. See, if you're not submitted, then you can't do that. Because if you try to do that, they're coming to you. Notice what I just said. If you're not submitted, not halfway, not a quarter way, all the way. If you're not, don't try that. Please, don't try that. You'll be sorry that you did that. Okay. He said, but I had to renew my mind to Oceanside, which I've actually for the last year or 2, I've been seeing what my father's been saying. And if you have natural eyes, you can see that Oceanside has changed. And it's changing. Things are coming up here. So if you don't see, just believe. See, even if you can't see, if you just believe it, then you will get sight. There's a principle right there. If you can't see it, just trust and believe it, and you will see it. Okay. We are in the promised land, but you cannot access it without renewing of the mind. See, you can be right in the promised land and not partake in the fruits of the land, in the milk and honey flowing in the land with an unrenewed mind. Think about that. You can be in the promised land. It's just like when they came back with the report. It was 12, right? Joshua and Caleb gave the good report, and 10 gave the bad report. 10. So that lets you know that's 90%. In the promised land, tasted the fruit, saw the milk and honey with their own eyes, but there was giants. They forgot about all the good and just said, hey, there's giants in there. We can't go in there. Forget the milk, forget the honey, forget the fruit, forget all the goodness of the land. There's giants. Okay. You cannot access the promised land even though you're in it without renewing your mind. We have in this place a kingly anointing. The power of the Almighty God. When you anointed, then you have the demonstration of the power of God and boldness. Those are factors of anointing. Hear that very carefully. In this place. See, there's a lot of places where there's a lot of talk. When you know this true anointing is by demonstration. Meaning when they're sick, their hands is laid on and they're healed. That means when prophetic words are given, they come to pass. You got to understand. Somebody, listen. The anointing that's coming down more upon us, you have to change. If you do not, it could cost you. We had a member that told the bishop no while he was telling them something they had done. They were saying no. Then they went home and couldn't breathe. Yeah, couldn't breathe. Felt like a big boulder was on their chest. The ambulance came and found nothing wrong. And the more that there was prayed over, the worse it got. That's God speaking. Alan, up here. That's God speaking to you, saying, hey, you better pay attention because I'm around here. So you can do that at other times. But over here, you got to read your Bible. When the presence of God showed up, watch how what happened. Why do you think the priests, they had bells on them when they went to go into the tabernacle, into the temple, into the holies of holies? Why do you think they had a bell on them? Because if they were not right, the bell would stop jingling and everybody outside that was holding the rope knew, oh, they did. They wasn't right. Pull them out. We can't go in there and get them. We got to pull them out. But that's what happens when you're not right, when the presence of God shows up. So what I'm helping you to become aware of is that's what's in this place, whether you believe it or not. Okay. Those are factors of anointing. We are no longer in the Gideon state, decreased stage anymore. That's what he meant when he was saying about crossing over the Jordan. You guys are screaming and hollering, hallelujah, hallelujah. You don't know what that means. That means we're in the increased stage. That means that those that have been here, that have made it through, that means you have to step up. You're screaming, hallelujah, hallelujah. No. You don't understand. That means God requires more of you. That means what you're doing right now doesn't suffice. You have to do more. Why? Because when more people come in, they need a demonstration of how you're supposed to act and conduct yourself in church. Not just in church, but kingdom living. So that means when they come in and they see people or they hear people talking against leaders, then that's what they're going to do. Or if they see people talking against each other, then they're going to go, oh, hey, this is how it goes. If they see honor, if they see reverence, then they know, oh, this is not the typical place. And then now the decision comes, do I want to stay here or do I need to go? And those decisions are between them and the demons. You're going to go or we're going to go. So we are no longer in the decreased Gideon stage. And my father broke it down. We was in that stage for 22 years. 22 years. Now we have come out of that. I don't have time to get into that because I can break that whole thing down. But I don't have time. But in the increase, you cannot live your life by what you have. But what you believe God for. That's what you have to live your life by. Oceanside, we said before, Oceanside is the promised land. Whether you understand it or not. Joshua had to depend on God. Now we're still talking about crossing over. We still have Moses with us. So we've crossed over and we still have Moses. But Joshua, the leader of Israel, had to depend on God on which way to go to cross the Jordan. So it wasn't just like it was we crossed the Jordan and we got it all set. No, we've crossed the Jordan. We're in a new land. What do? See, there's steps, there's stages. That's why we're screaming, yeah! No, we've crossed over, now what? What does it mean that you're on the other side now? What is your mentality? What is your thinking? What is your action? Okay, listen very carefully. But the Levites, which are the priests, the Levites, the priests, went first. Levite means joined unto the Lord. And I'm going to show you that in Scripture. I'm going to show you that in Scripture by Levi. The priest and the ark of the covenant, the people would follow the priest and the ark in which direction to go. So the priest, with the covenant of God on their shoulders, the representation, God there in their midst, the people have to watch and find out, okay, this is the way we go. So the priest had to be right. The priest had to be in communion with God because all of Israel was following them. Guess what? It hasn't changed today.
Amen.
It is the same today. We have been under the Gideon principle for 22 years, I said that, to get the group that we have now. Understand? God has ordained, those that are here, you've been ordained by God to be here. Now, He made His mind up, you have to make your mind up. See, once you make your mind up, you can't bounce. I'm going to say that again. Once you have made your mind up, you can't bounce. Because when your mind is made up, no matter what comes your way, it won't dismay you. No matter what comes your way, you know. It doesn't matter. I'm not taking my hand from the plow. It doesn't matter. Whatever comes my way, I'm swinging my sword and cutting it in half. No matter what comes my way, I have my shield, I'll block that, and I stab back. I swing back. Or if you really know what it's really about, you on the attack. When your mind is made up, you're in attack mode. When your mind is made up, you're not waiting for the enemy to attack you. You are on the attack. You are on the forward move. When you're sitting there waiting, you haven't made your mind up. When you're not active in the ministry, you haven't made your mind up. If you haven't put your hand to something and doing and working in the house, you haven't made your mind up. No matter how many years you've been here. You made your mind up with your job, and that's obvious. Because you're going to that every day. And you're not going to be late. And if you are late, you just get fired. So those that have been on your job for years and years and years, but you're struggling on men's meetings, you're struggling on love feasts, your mind ain't made up. If you're not active and working in the church, your mind isn't made up. Your mind is made up for mammon, but not for God.
Come on.
Yeah, that's right.
How do we do that? How do we now have crossover, but how do we do that? We love one another and love God.
Yes.
See, when your mind is made up, you love God.
Amen.
Because you know no matter what, you called me here, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to do.
Amen.
That means until I check out, in case you don't understand. The Lord brings who He wants to come to you every day. Every day. If you believe for the best, you can have the best. If you believe for the best, you can have the best. Now go to Genesis quickly. Now I'm going to give you scripture. Because there's things that my father said on Thursday that I have to, and he said, I will give you the I will elaborate, and that's what I'm going to do. Because we're a team. Me and my father are an inseparable team. See, my mind is made up. It don't matter what comes. It don't matter how much money, how much fame. I'm never leaving my post. The enemy knows that. See, the enemy knows that. And I'll prove in that. There's not enough. There's not amount of money. There's not a amount of fame. There's not an amount of anything. Attack, persecution. There's not a mass amount of any of those things that can get me out of my post. Because my mind is made up. How about you? Okay, Genesis 5:24. Now, when my father said that there was men that walked with God, and he said you can count on less than on one hand, there was three.
Right? Yeah.
There was three that God talked about that walked with him. Okay, but I want to give you a little bit of history on what my father talks about. See, when he talked about he's taking this 40 years back, he's taking this 40 years back, I'm going to show you where God had ordained us from the beginning. He ordained us to be able to do that. Now, these are going to be some shocking things that you hear, but they're in the Bible, and if you actually read them for yourself, they won't be shocking. You won't be shocked. There's a lot of shocks when we come to church every week. A lot of times, so many times, I've never heard that before. You just let me know you don't read your Bible. Okay, now we're going to start with, okay, well, I want to go back to just quickly, the lineage of Noah. Noah was one of the men that walked with God, and I'm going to show you why. Okay, so we're going to start, see, it just goes all the way back. Okay, so we'll start at 9. We'll just start with 9, even though there's those before 9. Like in 7, it says, after he begot Enosh, Seth lived 807 years and begot sons and daughters. And I want you to notice something too. None of these they never list the wives. It's not a strike on women, but I'm just letting you know. They never list the wives. They only list the fathers and the son. The name of the one son, but it says they had other children. Okay, 807 years. He begot sons and daughters. So all the days of Seth were 912 years, and he died. Enosh, who he was the son, he lived 90 years, and then he had his son Canaan. So at 90 years old, he had his son. Then it says he lived 815 years and had sons and daughters. So 815 years and had sons and daughters. Now remember, I'm just starting in the middle. So there's those before him, his father and his grandfather. It's 800, 700, 900. That's normal. Okay, so it says all the days of Enosh were 905 years. Then he died. Canaan lived, which was his son, Enosh's son, lived 70 years, and then he had Mahalalel at 70. After he begot Mahalalel, Canaan lived 840 years, and he had sons and daughters. And then so all of his days were 910. So he was 5 years short of his daddy, which was 915. So then all the days of Canaan were 910 years, and he died. Mahalalel lived 65. Then he had his son Jared at 65. After he begot Jared, Mahalalel lived 830 years, and he had sons and daughters. So all of his days were 895 years, and he died. Jared lived 162 years, and then he had his son Enoch at 160. He gave birth to a son at 160. After he had his son, Jared lived 800 years and had sons and daughters. So all of his days were 962. See, we talk about Methuselah was 969, but his granddaddy was 962. Enoch lived 65 years. There we go, his daddy. Enoch lived 65 years, and then he had Methuselah. After he begot Methuselah, Enoch walked with God 300 years and begot sons and daughters. Now pay attention to this. So all the days of Enoch were 365 years. So that's 600 years less than his daddy. But guess what it says? And it says, and Enoch walked with God, and he was not, for God took him. You notice how his daddy, his granddaddy, his great-granddaddy said they walked, there was this many years, and then they died. Well, it says right here, Enoch did not die. So he walked with God for 300 years. He had a son at 60, what was it, 65? Yeah, 65. He had a son at 65. Then the next 300 years, he walked with God. See, and then it doesn't say anymore. What does that mean? What does that mean? He walked with God for 300 years. Could it be that because of the magnificence of God, maybe that 300 years was 3 times the amount that his forefathers had lived? Yeah. Because he walked with God for 300 years? So he didn't need to live 900 and some years. Because his whole time here on earth, he was one with God. And then there's no grave site for him. God took him. So he said, you just so close with me, just come with me. There won't be a marked grave for you. So when my dad said about walking with God, it's a difficult task. It's not an easy deal. Okay, Methuselah lived 187 years. Then he begot Lamech. So he was 187 when he had his son. Lamech, when he begot Lamech, Methuselah lived 782 years and begot more sons and daughters. So all the days of Methuselah were 969 years. I think he was the longest living in the Bible, correct? Methuselah. Yeah, 969. He lived longer than anybody. Yeah, he was supposed to get to 1,000, got cut short. Okay, so then Lamech lived 182 years. So he had Noah at 182 years.
There we go. Wow.
At 182, he had Noah. And he called his name Noah, saying, this one, look at his prophecy, this one will comfort us concerning our work. Now what he's doing is he's